welcome to the very first episode of Let's Make It. So let's talk about a little bit like what is Let's Make It all about. Let's Make It is about designing and creating projects using low-cost CPUs and processors that are most commonly known to the maker community. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the maker community. I'm sure you probably are if you start looking it up. But if you read the magazine Make, I think it's make.com is the name of the website for it. People create little projects, whether we call them toys or gadgets, or there are all kinds of utility type things using low cost CPUs. Like I have right here an Arduino. The Arduino is this one is the Arduino Uno, which I think is like $24, and it's programmable. So these are like little electronic projects that you can create using small, low-cost CPUs. This is like one of my hobbies, so I do this a lot. And I just wanted to share some of the things that we work on. We actually do design some hardware and do software development. So this is part of what I do, all the time. But to me, it's fun and it's a hobby, and I play with things all the time. And a lot of people out there that I talk to are wondering how to get started in something like this. So what we've created this Let's Make It show is we're going to start from scratch. We're going to talk about many different things. This is actually a Raspberry Pi, which is a full-blown Unix. This is actually something that runs on my desk all the time, and I actually log into it and do things with it all the time. And you can create great development stuff with this as well. But we're going to start out with the Arduino. The Arduino is, like I said, it's $20-some, and we're going to walk through creating programs to do little things with it. And we're going to build up as we go along every week and learn more and more about how to use the Arduino. The Arduino is only the first one. We are going to look at the Raspberry Pi, and most of our hardware development in the past has been using a PIC platform. This is a PIC test board, and the actual PIC chip is right there. And we'll even talk about that some. Now we're looking at switching to a different chipset, and it's the Amtel, which is actually the one that's used on the Arduino, because we've been pretty impressed with the performance of the Arduino, and we want to look at other options. And then we're working on a new product or a new proof of concept to see if it works before it turns into products. And we're actually going to do it with the Arduino, and we're going to talk about that project as we go through these shows as well. We're not going to do anything this week. This is more of an introduction. But the next week's video, we're actually going to take this Arduino and we're going to plug it in, and we're going to write a little program just to show you the basics of the Arduino and what it can do. And then every week we're going to build onto it. We're going to add something new every week. And we'll make sure that all the code and all the notes and all the links are in the show notes so that you can do this along with us. And we'll even give you a heads up for the next week what the next show is about. So if you want to go out and buy, if we're going to, like, for example, use an LCD Shield next week, which it's not this week, it's many weeks from now. But you would know that next week if I want to do it along with the show, I need to get an LCD Shield, and we'll send you a link to what it is and where you can get it, things like that as well. So we're going to make this as easy as possible. There is no prior programming knowledge needed. With the Arduino, it is based primarily on a C-based language. It is C, and what I consider the C programming language, with a bunch of libraries. And we'll talk about the Arduino more in detail of what makes an Arduino next week. But there is no prior knowledge. If you never programmed a line in your life before, we're going to start to the level where it's that easy. So you'll be learning a little bit of C, learning a little bit of hardware, and then we'll move on to things like, this is a wireless communication board, and this is part of our proof of concept that we're working on right now, is we're using this to test the concept of using wireless communications for remote notifications. And this plugs right on top of the Arduino. This is an Arduino Shield I talked about before, and we'll go into, again, more detail of this later, but it basically plugs right on top like this, and you have a development environment, in a matter of a couple seconds of plugging it together to do a proof of concept. Or, I've seen people take these, put them together, and make something out of an Arduino, mount it in the final product, or the final thing they're trying to create. I've seen people use these in toys and stuffed animals to do things with lights and sound. And so I've seen them all kinds of places. They're, it's rather inexpensive, low power, so they don't take much power. You can actually run this on batteries for a while, especially if you do good power management. So it's it's one of those things that's very flexible, and for non-large scale projects, this could be like the perfect answer for what you're trying to do. So that's the purpose of Let's Make It. Like I said, we're going to start out with the Arduino because it's so simple. We'll move into the Raspberry Pi and maybe even some PIC stuff. And if our proof of concept goes forward and we like and it's working the way we think it's going to work, we'll actually be designing circuit boards. We'll talk with you about designing circuit boards and schematics, and you'll be able to learn how to make your own circuit boards if you actually want to go that far with it. So that's part of the Let's Make It show. We have many weeks of content already scheduled out, and we know what we wanted to do and in what order, for at least for the first 6 months. We're already set up. So like I said, we're starting with the Arduino. We'll be with the Arduino for a while because it is so simple. And then we'll go to the Raspberry Pi probably next. And somewhere in the middle there, depending on what our other projects are doing, we will actually start talking about our PC board designs and getting them produced, getting them made, things like that. And we'll actually talk to you a little bit about what we're actually making, so you can as we do, actually may even as we prototype it on not prototype, but proof of concept it on the Arduino, we may even give you some of the code and let you play with it if you want to go out and get the XB adapters. Like this is an XB, so it's a shield and an XB on it right here. So if you actually wanted to learn with us as we are going through our proof of concept, you can even do that as well. So that's the intro to the show. That's what we're going to do on the show. Every week we're going to pick out a next topic, and I'll say the next topic going forward and learning the Arduino as a start. So if you are watching us live, you can get in the chat room, and before and after the show we always talk to the audience via the chat room. Right now the chat room is kind of empty because they don't know we're recording this day. But we, on other shows, if you've seen any of our other shows, you know that we interact with the chat room a lot. That's like our sounding board and our leveling ground sometimes, even for that matter. And but if you are watching us like on YouTube, sign up to the channel and you'll get notifications when we put new ones out. Like I said, it'll be once a week. And if you're watching us like on iTunes or some other podcast, be sure to subscribe and you get those downloaded automatically. And we have different shows. We have shows for your phone. We have shows for your tablet. We have shows that go on your computer or even your TV in the living room. So we have all kinds of shows. We do have an audio podcast as well of this show. I'm not sure how well that's going to translate because we're actually going to be doing a lot of code and showing our screens and things like that as well. So we'll see how that works out. We decided to do audio just because that's been our background and it's part of our workflow. So we just when we drop it into the encoder, it does everything for us, and we're just going to have an audio feed. So if you're listening via audio right now and it's something that interests you, I might recommend you go find a way to watch us on video. All right, that's it. This was supposed to be a very quick intro. These are not destined to any kind of length like some of our other shows are. It's not going to be an hour or half hour. It's going to be however long it takes us to adequately cover the subject of the week. So be sure to subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you next week.